Up with KREM begins now.
Right now on Up with KREM, Governor Inslee reinstates the mask mandate for Washington State, but there are some exceptions. We hear what parents have to say about masks in schools.
We are going to keep saving lives by using the effective tools at our disposal.
And a new vaccine mandate for all education employees in the state is being implemented as students prepare to go back to school.
And of course, we're going to take you outside as the sun rises over the inland northwest. We're talking everything from air quality to our next chance of showers.
Well, good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Channing Curtis.
Glad to have you here with us. I'm Tim Pham. Let's get right to breaking news. The man suspected of murdering a Spirit Lake woman was arrested overnight.
Now, many of you reached out to us about this investigation. The Benoit County Sheriff's Office arrested John Dalton Jr. in St. Mary's, Idaho yesterday evening. Dalton is being booked into a Kootenai County Detention Center for the murder of Tina Swore.
The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office says the community played a big role in finding Dalton.
We are going to keep saving lives by using the effective tools at our disposal.
Mask up or vax up. Strong words coming from Washington Governor Jay Inslee.
Mask mandates are back regardless of your vaccination status, and all teachers must get a vaccine if they want to keep working.
Governor Inslee saying the vaccine mandate is for almost all K through 12 and higher education employees. Now
the mask mandate will go back into effect on Monday. It applies to everyone regardless of vaccination status, and all educational employees, both in K through 12 as well as higher ed, will be required to get vaccinated.
This week our state broke its previous record for COVID hospitalizations set in December. The rate is, as I said, spectacularly almost vertical in our charts. We're witnessing exponential growth. I've not used that term in some months, but regrettably that is now the situation that we are in.
The vaccine mandate will not apply to students as younger students are not eligible for the vaccine yet. Educational employees must be fully vaccinated by October 18th.
Now, a vaccine mandate is already in effect for most state employees as well as healthcare workers. Governor Inslee is emphasizing that this requirement will be harshly enforced, saying get a vaccine or you'll be fired.
There will be a process that will involve days, not months, where if people do not come in compliance, that they will be discharged. And that will apply to all the personnel that are associated with this protocol, be they state employees or in the K through 12 or college system. And there will be a formal process of their discharge.
So this comes after State Superintendent Chris Rakedahl asked Inslee last week that all K through 12 schools in the vaccine mandate. Now, there are still some religious and medical exemptions. The mandate also applies to people like substitute teachers, coaches, volunteers, and more.
Now, Governor Inslee also said unions can negotiate to get their employees time off to get the vaccine as well as deal with side effects. Inslee says a testing option will not be allowed for those who do not want to get vaccinated.
Meanwhile, President Biden announcing nursing home staff will be required to be vaccinated against COVID-19.
Now, this will be a condition for those facilities to continue receiving federal Medicare and Medicaid funding.
With this announcement, I'm using the power of the federal government as a payer of health care costs to ensure we reduce those risks to our most vulnerable seniors. These steps are all about keeping people safe and out of harm's way.
So starting September 20th, pending approval from the FDA, booster shots will be offered to people who receive the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines as long as 8 months have passed since their second dose.
Now, after Governor Inslee's announcement yesterday, many parents took to the streets across the state to protest these new mandates.
Yeah, so in Spokane, a protest was held near Lewis and Clark High School where parents voiced their concerns.
If Inslee has this wrong and I get vaccinated, I'm only hurt for maybe 20 years. But one of my sons could suffer with the consequences of his poor decisions for 70 years.
Now, other parents have also been expressing their support for the mandate, saying they don't understand why some are so opposed.
Anything to keep them in school, I think that we should promote, and masks work. Being vaccinated works. My child understands what's required of him, and it's not that hard to do.
Well, State Superintendent of Public Instruction Chris Rakedahl says the vaccine and mask requirements are the best way to ensure that schools stay open this fall. Students are not required to be vaccinated under the new mandates.
Now, the other big announcement from the governor's office, a new mask mandate.
Yeah, this one has a lot of people asking questions about how this will all work. So Nicole Hernandez joining us now. And Nicole, a lot of people reacting to these big announcements. What do we need to know about these changes?
Yeah, Tim Channing. So there's a few things that we should really take away from this announcement of this mask mandate here. So first of all is really just that it's a statewide thing. It is a mask mandate for the entire state of Washington. And two, everyone 5 and older will have to wear a mask inside whenever they are in public. Also, you have to wear a mask regardless of vaccination status. And then lastly, the mandate starts this coming Monday, so in just a few days. Now, there are some spaces where the state's mask mandate will not apply. That includes office spaces that aren't necessarily accessed by the public, places where individuals work alone with no public interaction, and small private gatherings where all attendees are vaccinated. The mandate follows weeks of escalating COVID-19 case rates and increasing hospitalizations. Health experts say the increase is caused by the Delta variant of the coronavirus. KREM talked with a local business about the announcement, and they remain supportive of whatever it takes to keep the community healthy.
It's not much of a surprise, but I think we're ready. We've been wearing masks, all of our employees. Might be a little different for the customers, but we're ready.
Why are you ready?
We just want to do anything we can to keep our customers and our staff safe and just hopefully nip this in the bud and protect the businesses too.
Now, Boo Radley's manager says during the last mask mandate, customers were mostly compliant, but they did still have the occasional people who needed a little bit of a reminder. And while this next part isn't part of the actual mask mandate, the Department of Health is still recommending that people wear masks in outdoor crowded spaces as well. So they're recommending that mask wearing in places like concerts and fairs as well. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Now, another thing people are talking a lot about is who exactly will be enforcing these requirements. Governor Inslee says his proclamation is a legally binding document.
So employers and business owners have no option but to comply. That includes following the indoor mask mandate and the vaccine requirement where it applies. The governor says being fully vaccinated is a job requirement for most state employees.
A formal discharge process will start October 5th. The governor is also saying that the vast majority of anyone let go will not be eligible for unemployment benefits. So it's our question of the morning, and we want to hear from you. Do you agree with Governor Inslee's decision to bring back an indoor mask mandate?
You can vote in our live Twitter poll, and you can also send us your comments to 509-448-2000. You're seeing some of what you've already sent in this morning. Definitely happy that our governor is taking the initiative to keep us safe. Other people saying no, and other people writing in yes. So let us know the reason why you voted yes or no. 509-448-2000.
Now, we know this was a lot of information regarding these new mandates, so we're making it easy for you to get all of this information.
Yeah, you can always head to KREM.com or just text the word COVID to that number there on your screen, 509-448-2000. We'll send you links with everything we know. All right, just about 7:09 here. Let's go to meteorologist Jeremy Legoo in the Weather Center. Jeremy, a beautiful morning, and gosh, that sunrise just keeps getting better behind you there.
Oh, I know, isn't it? It's quite wonderful. I got a screen right there of it, so I just keep looking down. Looks like a little bit of a stratocumulus deck of clouds right there. You can see a few breaks in them. We'll keep an eye on that. That is a sign that it is likely going to break up, and that's kind of what we're going to see throughout the day today, but we still have that trough that's over us. So expect a very similar day to what we saw yesterday. One of the differences is that we have a little more smoke in the atmosphere. Right now we are hovering near good, but it keeps slowly bumping up, and it's likely we're around moderate today and staying there tomorrow with maybe a little more smoke as well. Temperatures, though, on the mild side. 55 in Moses Lake, 54 in Spokane, and 56 in Coeur d'Alene. You're in the 40s from Deer Park through Newport into Sandpoint. It's upper 40s, but 40s nonetheless. 68 in Wenatchee. And there you go, a nice calm start to the day. No rain yet. Later on this afternoon, I think we see an isolated shower in higher elevations, but tomorrow, this is where it is. Later in the day, we'll see a round of showers move in overnight Friday into Saturday before that moves out. But for now, here's what you need to know. Temps in the low 80s later on this afternoon, and it's a mix of clouds and sun. A little bit hazy as air quality trends toward moderate, but all in all, it's shaping up to be a fantastic day.
In what's trending this morning with Governor Inslee's new vaccine requirements for higher education employees, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not WSU's head football coach Nick Rolovich will get vaccinated.
So several weeks ago, Rolovich made a statement saying he would not be receiving the vaccine due to private reasons. However, he would be following all other state guidelines set forward by the state and university. But under the new guidelines, he is required to be vaccinated.
Now, Rolovich is the highest paid employee in the state of Washington, which means if he were to submit a medical or a religious exemption, it will be heavily investigated by the state. Governor Inslee says the reason why he included coaches in the mandate is that they are viewed as educators and will be treated as such.
This is why WSU what they had to say after Inslee's statement. They said, "We applaud the efforts of Governor Inslee to protect the health and safety of the people of Washington. Washington State Athletics, including staff, coaches, and student athletes, will continue to follow all campus, local, state, Pac-12, and NCAA guidelines related to health and safety surrounding COVID-19, and we will work to ensure the mandates in the governor's proclamation are followed."
20 buildings have now been impacted by the Ford Corkscrew fire in Stevens County, including 8 homes that have been destroyed. So far, the fire has burned at least 14,000 acres, but some good news is that the fire is 14% contained and 100% lined. Level 3 evacuations are still in place, though.